Do you think it's a good use of context for propagating AWS policies during a run and deploy time? I don't know. You should ask. You should ask Sam.
The Alchemy.
Yeah, you should ask Sam from Alchemy because he's doing a ton of work on using effect to deploy infrastructure. I don't know if you folks have followed along with Sam, but let me.
And if not, you should.
Yeah, if not, you should absolutely. So, maybe we can even just look at the GitHub because I think that the GitHub has some good stuff in here, like examples here. So, like Sam's, they're basically building an effect native infrastructure provisioning and deployment tool called Alchemy. For any of you who don't know what this is, and there is it's being built with effect. So the alchemy.run website is showing off the async await version, but there is an effect version in progress that's going to be released soon. I don't know what soon means, but soon. And maybe we can see.
I think it's on a different repo. If you go under the Alchemy run org, I think it's Alchemy effect or something like that. Yeah, there you go.
You're right. You're right.
Examples, maybe? No, okay.
Let's look at EC2 source network. So the whole idea is that you can lean into services and layer composition for declaring like your infrastructure. And I like love this. I think this is such a great idea. It's all type safe. Dependencies between your services become extremely explicit. When you use a particular thing that requires another infrastructure-y type thing, that gets propagated to like the layer or effect level, right? So you know if you're using like, I don't know what a good example is, but if you're using something that requires a certain policy, like it's all, you would know that at the type level. Yeah, like here, this is a good example. You're using a bucket, an S3 bucket, right? But you need to like be able to have permissions on this bucket, right? So like there's a lot of this stuff that you can do with effect as part of like creating your infrastructure that like it sets everything up like for you, like it tracks like policies and things like that that you'll need. So anyway, keep an eye on this. Infrastructure as code, yeah, basically, but also like handles deployment and planning and et cetera, like there's a lot of stuff that that you can do with Alchemy that goes beyond just like the infrastructure as code. Like there's examples in here of deploying HTTP APIs directly from a Lambda with Alchemy, which I think is like super cool, right? Here's your whole HTTP API. RPCs, like it's really, really cool. You can deploy different stacks. So you can like have a stack that you deal with, and then in your configuration, you can like check which like stage you're running on. It's really cool. So anyway, definitely something to keep an eye on. I think that it's going to be available, like more officially available soon, but keep an eye on it. Is it producing cloud formation? I have no idea how it works under the hood. I don't think it is, though. I believe Alchemy, one of Sam's guiding principles when creating Alchemy, there's a great podcast, by the way, of Sam talking with James and Bruce, James Ward and Bruce Eckel, on the Happy Path Programming podcast, where he discusses like the whole philosophy behind Alchemy, etc. And long story short, like the whole point of this is to avoid all of the broken abstractions and like annoying things that you have to learn when trying to deploy a piece of code, and just lean directly into TypeScript and like programming in TypeScript. So I
Yeah.
don't think it does. I don't think it uses CloudFormation behind the scenes. I believe it does everything natively.
Also, they have I don't know, remember if it's shown as a GIF in the README. I don't think so, but they have a so nice CLI from where you can run basically your deploy and will preview what we will do and what you want. I really like that experience.
Is it misuse of context or should he create? No, it's not misuse of context. If you create a resource that depends on policy X, having policy X show up in the requirements of your effect would make sense. So you can see like the plan and things like that. Anyway, keep an eye on Alchemy. Alchemy does not equal Alchemy Effect. They are separate projects made by the same people. But at some point, while Sam was building Alchemy, he discovered Effect and thought it would be a great fit for Alchemy and started hacking on Alchemy Effect in parallel, and then decided to go all in on it for version 2 of Alchemy.
Yep. Which is always great news and always great type safety.
They did also make it like distilled AWS SDKs and things like that,
Mm.
which are great to use.